year, if it goes through as is, it'll be a 0.38, a little over a third of a mil increase.
What does that equate to in dollars? If you were to take out that 0.38 mil increase, how much would we have to cut out of the budget?
About 468,000. Combination of revenue and/or expenditure, 468,000.
I think that, you know, most people are in agreement that the economy is not improving. I think people are trying to paint a favorable picture because they're trying to get elected or re-elected. But the economy really shows no strongly stimulated signs up there. And I don't think this is a good thing to enter into an increase right now. And I think that you ought to try and hold it at the current mill rate and make a very clear message to the region that they have to have the contributions held down to where we can have a flat mill rate. I don't think it's a good idea to raise taxes when the economy is what it is. Several years ago, many people didn't even see us going into the recession. If we went back a couple of years ago, the chairman of the Board of Finance said she couldn't wait till next year, which would have been last year, because by then, I asked why, and she said by then the economy will be better. And it hasn't gotten better. Nobody's painting a rosy picture out there, and I don't think we ought to raise the taxes. We're going to have more foreclosure signs. We're going to have more for sale signs. If everybody leaves, okay, somebody's got to pay the taxes, but are we trying to chase the residents away? Are we trying to chase the businesses away? The businesses are not here right now. We need to keep people as stable as we can, keep the community alive, the economy improves, not to increase the spending now. And I feel very, very strongly about that.
Good statement. Sean?
Hi, can you go back one slide for just a moment, please? On this growth in grand list, given what some of us have discussed, that property values are down, how are we getting to, as you know, we're marginally over the last few years getting to a very small increase every year on the grand list? Where is that? Is that coming from people increasing the value of their property by adding on to it, by building on open space? I'm just concerned because property values are going down, yet the grand list is going up. And whatever that explanation is that something that we can trust moving forward, given the economic trends?
So, can I answer?
Well, yeah, you can. Just, a lot of it is motor vehicle and new construction.
Sean, the reason why the grand list went up this year is if you looked at absolute wise, if they put up a new house, that house is trended back to 2006, 2010 when they had the last grant. When was the last grant? 2008, when they had the last revaluation. Okay, so what happens is they put that new house up, and therefore the grand list increases. Okay, they had an anomaly because the real motor vehicles have increased in value the last few years, but when they do the reval next year, the grand list is not going to increase. It's going to decrease by about 20 to 30% because of the drop in house prices. But it's not a really straight fact when you see the grand list going up. The grand list really didn't go up, but it went up based on the last reval.
And when is the next reval?
This year.
Next year.
It's going to be October 1st.
2012 going into 13. Thank you.
13, 14. 13. Andy, sure.
I feel I finally have to make some comment about this. There's been many statements about the fact that the economy isn't improving, and I don't want to argue whether it is or it isn't, although most economists would say it is slowly, perhaps too slowly, improving. However, this is not the right forum to try to cut $400,000 out of the budget. The right place to cut $400,000 out of the budget is to speak to the Board of Selectmen at their meetings and get them to lead in that direction, because the Board of Finance is really constrained. It can't cut individual personnel. It basically can make across-the-board cuts. The cuts that would have to be made to reduce the budget to any significant degree need to come from the selectmen, who need to indicate what services and what people they would wish to cut. And simply saying we want to cut $400,000, those are real people and real services. And someone who is responsible for the executive function in the town, which is the Board of Selectmen and the first selectman, need to be making proposals along those lines.
Well, I think, Andy, partially correct. We have several tools that we can use to cut the budget if we have to. The real effort, if you want to cut, no matter what it is, from the town meeting has the ultimate say. You can come to the town meeting and actually make cuts yourself without going through the Board of Finance or without going through the first selectman. But everybody has a part in this. Duncan?
Years ago, my friend, the Board of Finance was always looked on as the key to reason when it came time to look at budgets. And while you might not be able to cut a particular item, you can darn well say that here's the bottom line, figure it out, to Mr. Stomsky, to Republicans or Democrats, because we are already paying for mistakes by Republicans and Democrats over the years. And I'd rather have the 7 members of the Board of Finance standing up for me than I would 2 selectmen that are there for 2 or 4 or 6 years. Thank you.
One last, we got to start moving along. One last question in the back here.
First of all, may I say, I give you a lot of credit to stand up and put this list of the friendly group.
Well, we're sounding board. I don't have any problem with this.
But on some of this, have we ever looked at a more green way of doing things? We could go back and look at solar.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what the difference would be, but it's something that is always going to be there, and it could be a backup. The other thing is, what about closing down some of the facilities for one day? If the library's open 7 days, pick 1, maybe 2 days during the week, not on the weekends, but during the week, slow it down, it will save on heat, electricity, and so forth.
That last item we had looked at, in fact, we accomplished the shutdown of the waste management area. One day. Sean?
Sean Murphy, Sherman Hill. Just off the top of your head, approximately, and I won't hold you to it, what percentage do you think of our overall town budget is salaries versus other stuff? Is salaries the largest chunk?
Salaries and fringe benefits, 60%.
$5 million. Just off the top of my head.
It's more than half.
It's more than half.
So that would be where we would have to look at. And just as I would urge, if the Board of Finance has any jurisdiction...
Board of Education is 80%.
Yeah, okay. What I would urge in follow-up on energy, that the oil and natural gas are some of the lesser expenses, and a lot of these alternative fuels require huge amount of subsidies. And if you folks do look into that, keep in mind, we've seen a number of these, quote, alternative energy companies go bankrupt because their cost structure is so high that it's not cost effective. So I would urge against even wasting your, there's not a lot of thing there because of that huge subsidy.
Art?
I'd just like to remind Mr. Sherman that we came in here a few years ago when he was on the Board of Finance, and he had the opportunity to go back at the selectmen, and he didn't do it. So to blame the selectmen
All right.
is not what should be done. We need the Board of Finance.
Constructive comments, Art. Time out.